Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Isay was the Dhampir Dragon Emperor? If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Beep. 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 Thumb. Ugh, be quiet. The sound of a ringing alarm clock being slammed shut by tired, moaned of a young man. Knock knock knock. Ice, are you awake? It's almost time for school. Ice, are you awake or not? Shuzen Issei. Wake up. You're late. Bam. A woman in her middle-aged with very long brown hair tied in a ponytail with a scrunchie and had light gold eyes, suddenly charged in by kicking down the door and pulled away the blanket that's covering the young man with mixture of brown and black hair. She sure looked and sound furious. Alright, I'm awake. Ha. Isay replied tiredly as he sat up in his bed and yawned. He turned his head a little and looked at the young woman with his half-opened eyes. His eyes are quite special, they're demonic ruby eyes with vertically slitted eyes, and he also had pronounced sharp fangs. Mornin' mom. Good morning, young man. Now hurry up and get dressed. Breakfast is ready. Hi. The teen complied by getting off his bed and went to the bathroom to brush his teeth, took a shower and changed into his school uniform. In the kitchen. A middle-aged looking man with shoulder-length black hair and black goatee drinking a cup of coffee while reading the newspaper. Mornin' pops. Isay greeted the man who happened to be his father. The young man lowered his newspaper and his eyes met Isay's. He too had the same eye color and sharp fangs just like Isay. Good morning, Ice. Are you excited about today? Isay's old man asked when the boy sat down and took a bite at his bread. He then answered after gulping down the food. Not really. I sense devils and fallen angels wandering around this town. You're right. But they're not much of a threat to us. That's right. Shinso vampires like you two have almost nothing to fear about. A third voice suddenly came out of nowhere. But Isay and his father looked at the former's left hand. Hey Drag. Didn't expect you'll be awake. Well, guess again. Who wouldn't be awakened after that bellow? Father and son chuckled as they understood what the Red Dragon Emperor meant. Now, what is a Shinso vampire? Long time ago, even before the formation of Teeps and Carmilla faction, there was a legend about a very powerful vampire. Legend says the vampire was so strong that he could destroy an entire continent with an ease, and his name is Shinso. Not only that, legend also says that the vampire, Shinso, is unlike others. He could walk under the sun. He could cross the rivers. He could enter buildings which he's not invited to enter. But sadly, none has ever found or met him, so all assumed that the Shinso vampire was nothing but a myth. Unbeknown to the whole world, Shinso really did exist. It's been told that those who carries his blood, they will be given the title of Shinso. Shuzen Issei, who is the father of Isay, is the direct descendant of Shinso, the strongest vampire in the entire world. Which would also mean that both the father and son carry the title Shinso. Don't think that I didn't hear that Drag. Both Isay and Issa stiffened when they heard the brown-haired lady's voice, even though she wasn't in the kitchen at the moment. Oops, I guess she heard that. No kidding. Kayako's senses are always very sharp. HMPH. You don't call her the strongest exorcist for nothing. Heh. Former strongest exorcist to be more precise. Issa corrected the dragon. Oh right. She quit her job when she married you. But I find it kind of hard to believe that a human being who had been hunting you for 6 years actually fell in love with her prey. Hey. How come it's me who is the prey? Because it sounds funny. Drag replied with a playful tone. Alright, Drag. That's enough of your joke. I should be going now, Pops. Just when Isay stood up from his seat, Kayako came into the kitchen. Ice, take this with you before you go. She handed something to her son. A chain-like bracelet with a lock on it. The lock had a cross-like seal. Isay looked at the bracelet inquisitively. What's this, Mom? It's something I made for you. I think I'll call it a holy lock. Eh? If it's something holy, shouldn't I be affected by it by now? Kayako smiled a little and cleared Isay's doubt. Don't worry, it won't do any damages to you. The holy lock is used to conceal your vampire side and prevent the devils and fallen angel from detecting you being a Shinso vampire. Just put it around your right hand and it'll do its magic. The young man followed the instructions and wore the bracelet on his right hand. Before he knew it, his slitted ruby eyes had changed into light gold color just like his mother's, his fangs were shortened into normal length. Wow. This is amazing. He said it in an awe expression while tapping his new canine teeth. But what about my powers? Can I use them while I had this on? Holy lock only suppressed your power until the level where other supernatural beings won't be able to tell that you're a vampire. If you wish to return back to your vampire form, just say the word release and the holy lock will break by itself. To revert back to your human form, say the word re-equip. Oh, sweet. Thanks mom. Shit, I'm late. Gotta go now, bye mom, bye pops. The couple couldn't help but chuckled when they saw their son's reaction. Kayako then walked towards her husband and gently wrapped her hands around his neck from behind, resting her chin on his right shoulder and savored the warmth of her beloved Issa. Issa? Yes, dear. Ice, you and I. We're going to be alright, right? After a few seconds passed, the Shinso vampire glanced his hand on hers. I don't know what will happen in the future, but I will do whatever it takes to protect you and our son. Besides, I'm sure Ice will be fine, he can take care of himself. I've taught him everything I know about fightings and survivals. Plus, he has Drag watching his back. He is our son after all. Issa said the last part proudly, which caused his wife to giggle a little. Guo Academy second year classroom. Alright guys, I am pleased to tell you all that we'll be having a new student in this class this new semester. Ooh. Do you think it's a girl? I think I heard it's a guy. Oh. I think I saw him when I entered the teacher's room. Aw, come on. Why guy? We don't need any bishinin. The students started discussing about the matters of this new student until their teacher calmed them all down. That's enough, you all. Shuzen-kun, please come in. Hearing that young man simply walked in and stood beside the teacher. Good morning everyone, my name is Shuzen Issei. Pleased to meet you all. Isay lowered his head a little as he greeted his new classmates. Hi. He's hot. Oh my god. His eyes are so pretty. Please go out with me. The girls in the class started going wild. The boys on the other hand. Kuzuu. Another bishinin. Oh somewhere else. You get the picture. Shuzen-kun, why don't you sit at that empty seat just next to the window? Sure. Thanks, sensei. Under a tree. It's lunch break and Isay finally found a place where he could rest until his next class began. During the previous break time, he was surrounded by his new classmates, which all of them were girls. Now let's see what mom got me for lunch. He reached out for his bento box which was just next to him. He grinned immediately when he opened the bento. Wow. That smell. It sure made my mouth watery even though I don't have one. That's right, Drag, all you can do is watch me eat, enjoy watching me eat. Why you little. The young man said it happily and started digging in while ignoring the Red Dragon Emperor's wrath. He finished the whole thing within 3 minutes. Phew. That was satisfying. Isay laid on the grass field and relaxed until he saw 2 male students which he recognized as them being his classmates, the perverted duo, were being chased across the baseball court by a dozen of female students wielding shinase. The male students eventually tripped themselves and fell hard, allowing the girls to catch up and beat the crap out of them. Wow. That looks painful. No kidding. Isay said it with both his eyebrows lifted a little, and having his dragon agreed with him afterwards. The young man then sensed someone who wasn't human was walking towards him, but he chose not to turn around. Looks like someone beat me to it for the first time. It was then, he looked back and saw a beautiful young woman who appeared to be in her late teen with a voluptuous figure and a long black hair and violet eyes. Her hair was tied in a long ponytail, with an orange ribbon. The devil. No, I sensed the power of fallen angel in her as well. Though Isay hated to admit, her appearance had caught him unprepared a little. Could this be love at first sight? The young man ignored the dragon's teasing. May I? The young woman asked if she could sit next to him, and Isay replied with a nod. I'm sorry, but what did you mean when you said that I beat you to it? Oh, it's nothing. I come here often during the lunch break and rest, but you got here before I did. Oops. I didn't know this place is reserved already. Sorry about that, I'll be taking my leave. Isay was just about to leave when the young woman stopped him by grabbing his sleeve. It's alright. Please stay. It's not like this place can only be used by one person. The teen complied and laid down next to her once again. After a moment of short pause, the young woman decided to speak. I've never seen you before. Are you the new student that people are talking about? Yes, my name is Shuzen Issei, second year. And you are? Where are my manners? My name is Himejima Akeno, third year. Pleased to meet you, Shuzen-kun. Isay couldn't help but blushed a little when he saw her smile. Nice to meet you as well, Himejima-senpai. No need to be so formal. You can just call me Akeno. Alright, Akeno-senpai. Akeno-san. Aki? No. Akeno leaned forward, closing the distance between the two of them. Little did she know that her action was making Isay having a sweat dropped on his head. Hi Akeno, you can call me Isay, but my parents and friends call me Ice. Akeno's smile widened when Isay finally gave in and allowed her to call him his first name. Hi. Nice to meet you, Ice. She brought her hand out, offering him a handshake which was accepted immediately with a teeny tiny little hesitation. So, Isay. Did you move in here recently? Yay. My parents and I moved from London to here since last week. So did you get the chance to go out and familiarize Kuo town? Not really. I have many things to get unpacked and by the time I was done with it, the semester had already begun. I see then, do you wish to go out and take a stroll around the town? I've been living here for a long time, so I know this town very well. Again, her question had caught the young man off guard. Greg. What should I do? I don't think she's scheming anything. If you want to, might as well tag along. Assuming that things do go wrong, nothing you can't handle. I am free next Friday. What about you? Isay's answer seemed to brighten Akeno's face. She nodded her head a couple of times. Yes. I am definitely free. Ring. The time was up and both of them had to return to their classes. Ah. Before you leave, can I have? Isay waited for her to finish her sentence. Can I have your phone number? Oh. Sure, why not? He pulled out his phone from his pocket and both of them exchanged their numbers. Will I be seeing you again? You mean tomorrow? Here? Akeno nodded. You sure about that? Don't you want some quiet time at this spot? No. I wish to know you more. Sure. Why not? Her face lightened up when she heard his answer. So I'll see you again, tomorrow? Yay, sure. Alright. I'll be taking my leave now. See you tomorrow, Isay. See you tomorrow, Akeno. The young man waved his hand as he watched his newly acquainted friend walking further away from him. First day of school and a girl is already hitting on you. I must say, I'm impressed, partner. I wouldn't be so happy if I were you. I get what you mean. But it looks like she didn't know your true identity. So her intention in wanting to know more about you and showing you around are pretty pure. I guess so. He looked at Akeno's phone number one last time before placing the phone back into his pocket. The Occult Research Club. The wood-paneled room with Victorian-style tables, couches, chairs and walls and a bath was set up at a corner. At the other corner was a large magic circle on the ground. Sitting at the table reading documents was a beautiful young woman around Akeno's age. She had white skin and blue-green eyes and buxom figure. She had a long crimson hair that reached down to her thighs and an ahogue sticking out from the top. Then, there was a petite girl around 15 years old with white hair and hazel eyes sitting on the couch, eating some snacks. She had a black cat-shaped hair clip on both sides of her hair. Akeno-san sure is late, isn't she? The one who broke the silence in the room was a handsome young man with short blonde hair, gray eyes and a mole under his left eye. He was sitting across the petite girl. You're right. She wouldn't be this late. Maybe she got holed up by the teacher or something. The crimson-haired lady set the paper down when she replied. Coincidentally, Akeno entered the room. I'm sorry for being late. I got caught up on something. Speak of the devil. The petite girl said. Were you guys talking about me just now? Akeno tilted her head a little curiously. Did something happen, Akeno? The crimson-haired asked. Hi, but you. I met the new student today. Akeno replied her club president with a smile. Her smile caused the latter one to raise an eyebrow. And you're happy about this? We'll be going out next weekend. Her words made the other three people in the room to look at her with their eyes open wide. The club president's right cheek twitched a little. I didn't think you'll move that fast. You just met him and you two are already going out. That's a pretty big step, even for you. I wouldn't say it's a date. I'm just showing him around the town. But what makes him so special? I thought you hated men. Akeno pondered for a moment and answered the question as she placed her hand on her chest. I dunno, I just feel calm and safe when I'm close to him. The crimson-haired girl looked towards the petite girl and the handsome young man, wondering if they knew anything, but their reply to her was a shrug of their shoulders. Kuo Academy. This spring sure is cool. Isay's currently at the entrance of the school, waiting for his partner to arrive while enjoying the cool breeze. He wore a gray fit shirt which showed his well-built body and an ocean blue jeans. A lot of things sure happened on the first day. You can say that again. On the day he met Akeno, he met another female student from another who called herself Yuma Mono. She was a fallen angel and for no reason at all, asked him to be her boyfriend. Thinking that only a desperate loner would accept the offer, which he wasn't, so Isay turned her down flat. Once the young man had reached home, he told what had happened to his parents. Kayako, who was an overprotective mother, nearly left the house with herself armed to the teeth in order to hunt Akeno and Yuma down if it wasn't her husband who stopped and persuaded her in trusting their son's decision. I never thought mom would react like that. I gotta say, it's kinda scary. Isay said it with a wry smile when he remembered his mother's reaction. Hell, even I was surprised by her reaction. Greg agreed with his host. Ice. The young man turned his head when he heard Akeno called for him. His mind however went blank when he saw Akeno's clothes. She wore a purple turtleneck and black jeans. Beautiful. That one word was the only word he could thought of. I'm sorry for being late. Did I made you wait, Ice? Ahem. She's talking to you, partner. Issei snapped out of his thoughts right away by shaking his head a few times. Do I look odd in this clothing? No. Not odd at all. It's just well you look good in it. Isay averted his gazes and said it while scratching his cheek sheepishly. His compliments caused Akeno to blush and a gorgeous smile lightened up on her face. Thank you, Ice. Ah. I almost forgot. Good morning, Akeno. I'll be in your care today. Isay greeted her with a gentle bow. In a short pause, Akeno did the same thing. I'll be in your care as well, Ice. So, where are we going? Just follow me. Akeno brought him to different places. First they visited a shopping mall and then they had lunch at a family restaurant. Akeno also brought him to an arcade store where the young man broke all the gaming records with an ease, shocking both Akeno, the staffs and the store owner. At a park. The evening was approaching when the sun was a minute before sunset. Both of them decided to end their trip by taking their time, walking in the park. The day was a blast. Thank you so much, Akeno. Fufufu. I too have to thank you, Ice. Oh yeah. I bought this when we were at the shopping mall. I hope you like it. Issei placed a small object on Akeno's hand. It's a turquoise ring. Ice. This is. Akeno was surprised and confused when she saw the ring. I heard that when turquoise is worn, it can protective charm wearer from all things evil. So you know. Maybe this will protect you from the evils at our school. Evils? Our school? I'm talking about the perverted duo. Akeno burst into laughter when she finally understood what Isay meant. She accepted the ring happily and put it on her right index finger. Thank you very much, Ice. I'll cherish it forever. Both of them smiled at each other until someone interrupted their moments. Issei's eyes sharpened when he sensed the air around had changed and an addition of 4 people sitting on top of a tree's branches. BFF. Did you see the Donaseek? The devil was actually playing with a lowly human. HMPH. This is why I hate devils. They always play with their prey before eating or killing them. So if we kill the devil, what should we do with the human? Do we alter his memories? That's enough, middled. And Calwarner, we're going to kill the human as well. His sacred gear may be a threat to us in the future. Akeno immediately emitted a killing intent at 4 of them when she heard the last one intended to kill Isay. What are you gonna do, devil? Fight the 4 of us? The middle-aged man asked Akeno tauntingly. This is bad. I got distracted, failed to notice the fallen angel's movement. I don't think I can handle 4 of them at once. Should I call Butchu? But Ice will. Akeno showed a perplexed expression because she didn't know which move she should make. Summoning her master and her comrades would be a right choice, but in front of Isay. She didn't like the idea of altering his memories after the fight. Even though they've just known each other for 12 days, she truly liked him. Middled, Donaseek, Calwarner, you guys take care of the devil. That weakling is mine. Yay. We get it. Ha. 3 of the fallen angels brought out their black feathery wings and hovered above the ground. Each of them created a light spear on their hand and threw it at Akeno. The latter one stood before Isay and erected a defensive magic circle in front of them. She managed to block first strike. The second made a crack. The third shattered the barrier, pushing her back a little. I will not let you harm Ice. She yelled. BFF. Like you can beat the 4 of us. Stop talking crap. Hey, boy. Do you see now? This woman isn't human at all. She's a monster. That's right. She's a monster. The fallen angels were trying to make the teen below them realized who he was standing next to. Ice, I can explain. Akeno panicked while trying to explain it to Isay. The fallen angels saw their chances and summoned light spears on their hands once again. They threw the light spears at both the teens. Oh no. Akeno wanted to create the barrier once again, but there wasn't enough time. The last thing she knew was that someone stood in front of her when she was about to risk her life for someone she truly cared about. Her eyes widened when she saw Isay moved forward and whispered a word softly but loud enough for her to hear it. Release. Ice. Akeno stretched her hand out in order to reach the man when a bright light suddenly covered her vision, turning everything in front of her white. In a bedroom. Akeno turned here and there while holding the blanket tightly. Ice. She opened her eyes and sat up from a bed immediately when she remembered the fallen angels and most importantly, Isay. She looked around at the room that she's not familiar with. Her eyes then set on someone. Resting his head on the side of Akeno's bed was none other than Isay. Ice. Akeno shook his shoulder gently. Her words carried a fearful tone. She feared that this would all be a dream and Isay's already long gone. Wah. Akeno. You're awake. Issei lifted his head up and looked at Akeno while he's still half awakened. Akeno slowly raised her hand and touched the former's cheek. Ice. You really are Ice, aren't you? What are you talking about? Of course it's me. He ruffled her hair affectionately as he answered it with a small smile. Then, this is my room. You passed out yesterday and I didn't know where you lived so I carried you back to my house. This is Ice's room. Akeno mumbled and looked around the room once again, trying to memorize everything until she was interrupted when she remembered yesterday's incident. Ice about yesterday. Don't worry. All I did was knock them unconscious. The young woman was surprised by his reply. Ice, who are you? Oh, me? I'm a Dhampir. Ah. A pair of bat wings spread out from Issei's back, leaving Akeno looking at him with a dumbfounded expression. So you're telling me that you're a vampire? Well, I'm a half-vampire to be precise. My mom's a human. Akeno still couldn't believe what she just heard, but Issei confirmed it by repeating what he said earlier. How is that I sensed you as a human at the beginning? You see this bracelet? This is a holy lock that my mom made. It prevents my vampire side from being detected by supernatural beings. Which is why my eyes and canine teeth are currently normal. I see. Knock, knock, knock. Both youngsters turned their head when the door was knocked. After a short pause, a voice could be heard from the other side. Ice, breakfast's ready. Alright, Mom. And bring your friend as well. Alright. Confirming that her mother was no longer there, Akeno asked Issei. Does your mother know that I'm a devil? Yay, she knew. I see. Never mind that now. You should get change. Confused for a moment, Akeno looked down and was surprised to see herself wearing a single shirt and blue shorts. Noticing Akeno's confusion, Issei cleared her doubts by getting her attention with a small cough and handed her clothes to her and said. I thought it might be uncomfortable if you sleep with the shirts you wore yesterday. So I used my clothes. Issei averted his eyes when he said the final part sheepishly and guiltily. Seeing that, Akeno couldn't help but decided to tease Issei a little. Akeno immediately sat on the floor and covered chest area with her hands. She looked at Isay with a pitiful expression with moisty eyes. My body was seen by Ice, I can't get married anymore. Akeno played the weak woman card and the young man fell for it. As he started to panic and explain the yesterday's situation. I'm sorry. I did try to cover my eyes when I changed your clothes. TFF. Eh? Ha 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 ha. Eh? Isay looked at the girl as he was amazed by her laugh. I'm sorry Ice. I was just playing with you. You're not mad. I mean I changed your clothes without you knowing. Isay faced Akeno with a troubled look while scratching the back of his head nervously. Seeing his reaction, Akeno stood up with a smile and paced towards the young man. She then whispered something close to Isay's ear, softly yet seductively. If it's Ice, I wouldn't mind. Even if you touch me more while I was sleeping. Isay's face reddened instantly and he immediately took a big step back. He looked at Akeno while covering his nose and mouth. Akeno, please don't tease me that much, I may die from excessive nosebleed. Ifufu. Sorry about that, Ice. But really I wouldn't mind. Just get change. I'll wait outside. Before she could finish, Issei placed the clothes on Akeno's hands and slammed the door shut when he exited his room in a quickened pace. Akeno looked at her clothes, then the door and spoke to herself quietly. I was serious though. Behind the door, Issei covered his face with his hand and crouched on the floor. He was desperately trying to calm himself down. Damn it. She got me good, but could Akeno meant for real? No, she's simple teasing me, right? Of all the inhuman training your father gave you while you were growing up, his training sure didn't prepare you for this occasion. Shut up. Kukikuku. Few moments later, Akeno came out from the room with the clothes they wore on their first date. I'm done. Then shall we, Akeno? Yes please, Ice. Dining room. Akeno sat on her spot awkwardly as she just finished her quietest breakfast in her entire life. But then, Kayako decided to break the ice. So, you must be the pretty girl that Ice talked about. But Kayako's words didn't just caught Akeno off guard, but her son as well, as he coughed a few times when he was drinking his tea. Issei immediately skidded to his mother's side and whispered at her ears. Mom? I never said that. Are you saying that Akeno-chan isn't pretty? I didn't mean that. Yes, she's pretty, but wait, just what am I saying? Akeno blushed a little when Issei blurted out what he thought. But she then ignored the blush and introduced herself. Nice to meet you, Ice-kun's mother and father. My name is Himejima Akeno. I'm from the same school as Ice-kun, but I'm a third-year student. She said it with an elegant posture and a small bow. What a nice manner you have. Nice to meet you too, Akeno-san. I heard a lot about you from Ice. Thank you for taking care of him at school. I hope he didn't cause you any trouble. Not at all. I enjoyed spending my time with Ice-kun. Is that right? That's nice. But. Ayako's expression changed by having a smile that didn't met her eyes and her words. If you devils like ever think about laying your hands on my ice, I will personally hunt you all down. At the moment, Akeno began to shiver and sweat in fear when she saw and sensed the unbelievable amount of bloodlust emitted from a mere human. Akeno wanted to say something, but because of the immense pressure pressing against her entire body, she could barely move her lips. Mom, you're doing it again. Ayako, you're scaring our guest. Issei sighed upon seeing his mother's condition. Issa on the other hand, shook his wife gently on her shoulder. Kayako immediately snapped out of her murderous mode. Looks like I lost my cool once again. I'm sorry if I've made you uncomfortable, Akeno-san. It's nothing. I mean I get what you meant. It would take some time for you to trust someone like me, a devil. But when you encountered those crows and since you placed my son's safety over yours when you encountered the crows, I guess I'll give you a passing mark for now. Akeno put on a sad smile on her face as she could understood why Issei's mom would react that way. But Kayako's sudden remark about her action when they met the fallen angels made her pause for a moment. Though Akeno's still a little confused, Kayako smiled and lowered her head slightly. It was nice meeting you, Akeno-san. I hope it's not much to ask, but please continue to be my son's friend and take care of him in school. Akeno stunned for a few seconds and then replied back with a bow and the warmest smile she had. Leave it to me. Thank you for having me and I'm sorry to have you disturb. Akeno stood at the front door of Shuzen's house and bowed her head to thank them before she leave. Not at all. Feel free to come again when you're free as we welcome you anytime. Ayako smiled at her and Issa continued. That's right. Just think of this as your second home. Thank you for accepting me. I'm off now. Come on, I'll walk you back. Issei put on his shoes and left his house with the black-haired girl. I should head back now. I need to report the incident to my master. I see Akeno. Yes, Ice. Can I ask you a favor? What is it? Is it alright if you don't tell your master about me being a damper? Akeno's eyes widened a little because she did not expect Issei to make such request. She then put on a puzzled expression. I know it's a selfish request, but can you do that for me? Please. When the right time comes, I'll tell her myself. Okay. After a long pause, Akeno finally agreed with Issei's request. Really? Hahaha. Thanks, Akeno. Hi. Issei joyfully gave Akeno a quick hug after he heard her answer. Akeno on the other hand was unprepared for that, subconsciously let out a small shriek while her cheeks turned a little pink. Then I'll see you on Monday. Of course. Alright. See you at school on Monday, Ice. Issei gave Akeno a wave just before the latter one teleported away with a magic sigil. At Akeno's apartment. Akeno took a shower the moment she got home to refresh herself and while she was drying her hair with a towel, she received a call from her master. A small projection of Rias then appeared before her. Akeno, are you there? Hi, Rias. I'm here. What's wrong? You seemed worried. Of course I'm worried. I tried contacting you yesterday but you never answered. Where were you? I was Akeno was about to speak, but the promise she just made with Issei suddenly popped out in her head. Akeno, what's wrong? Did something happen? I've encountered fallen angels while I was with Isay yesterday. Are you two alright? Are you hurt? We're fine, Rias. We managed to escape from them. Then what about the student, Shuzen Issei? Did you alter his memories? Yes, I did. Hey. I was naive to think that the fallen angels wouldn't act so aggressively. To think that they would try to hurt one of my cute servants. I will personally eliminate them the next time we meet. A serious look could be seen on Ria's face. The crimson-haired princess then shook her head a few times and looked at Akeno with a gentle expression. Anyway, it's good to hear that you're okay. I'll see you at school on Monday. Hi, Rias. After the projection of Rias had dispersed, Akeno silently stood in front of the mirror and looked at her reflection sullenly. I can't believe I just lied to my master. At the park. While he was on his way back home, Isay ran into a nun. A nun who tripped and fell in front of him. After giving the nun a hand, he found out that she was lost. So the young man was kind enough to guide her to her destination. On their way to the destination, Drake sensed something and decided to tell his host. Partner, I sensed a sacred gear dwells within this girl. She has a sacred gear? Isay's interest on the nun peaked a little after hearing that. But a wail nearby distracted his thoughts. Not far away from them was a boy who sat on the ground, crying. Issei looked at the boy and noticed the latter's knees were red. He then concluded the boy tripped and injured himself. Where are his parents? Issei started looking around for the adults and before he knew it, the nun walked towards the boy and kneeled to his level. Hey, you okay? A boy shouldn't cry over a little injury like this. She patted the boy's head gently and said it. The boy, however, failed to understand what she just said because she spoke it in English. He simply looked at her with teary eyes. She then placed both her hands on the boy's injuries. The next moment, 2 silver rings with blue-green gem on each ring appeared on both her middle fingers, followed by a faint green light orb was emitted from her palms. The boy's injuries was then healed within second. There, your wounds are gone. Try standing up. The nun offered the boy a hand which he accepted. Pain is gone. The boy was shocked and awed at the same time. Partner. I know, Drag. I saw it. That's Twilight Healing. A sacred gear which has the power to heal others. After a short time, a female adult who seemed to be the boy's mother approached them. Nigi, are you okay? I told you not to run too fast. Did you fall down and injured yourself? Sorry, mama. I fell, but Magician Wani-chan healed me. Magician Wani-chan? The boy's mom raised an eyebrow when her son's eyes were glimmering with starlight. She looked at the nun, then back to her son. Not knowing what just happened, the mother held her son's hand and spoke. We should go now, Nigi. Okay, mama. Oh. Thank you, Wani-chan. The boy waved at the nun happily as he and his mom walked away from them. He said, thank you, Wani-chan. The nun smiled and waved back after Issei translated for her. Seeing that the mother and son had left, Issei figured that it's the best time to ask her. Is that the ability of your sacred gear? That's quite direct. Ignoring Drake's comment, the young man's eyes remained on the nun. His gaze caused her to shrink a little. Yes. It is a power which was given to me by God. The power to heal injuries. Though she smiled when she answered, Issei picked up sadness within that smile. I see. It was then, the nun noticed the bracelet on the young man's hand. Ah. Are you a Christian as well? The nun spoke in a surprised tone. Sorry but, I'm not. Oh I see. But my mom used to be an exorcist. Really? Yay. She was in fact quite famous. Then, she quit being one. What happened to her? She married my dad. Who? The nun's face reddened for she had never experienced love. But hearing the story seemed to make her blush a little. When they finally reached their destination, the two of them stood before an old abandoned church. Ah. We're finally here. Thank you very much, mister. The nun bowed a few times while thanking the young man. Though a normal half-vampire would be sweating and having chills coming out of his or her body, Issei, who was trained by his father, stood before the church like it was nothing. Don't get me wrong. It still bothers him. But his resistance is simply stronger. I sense the fallen angels from last night. Isay narrowed his eyes after sensing 4 supernatural beings were living just underneath the church, along with a few dozens of humans. Exorcists? No, they must be the exiled ones. He pondered while looking at the nun beside him. The nun noticed Isay's gaze and smiled innocently at him. Why would someone like her be related to these fallen angels? Issei decided to confirm the nun's destination one more time. Hey, are you sure you are transferred to this location? Yes, it says right here. The nun showed Issei her map once again to confirm it. Hey. Look, I know this will sound weird, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a damper. Eh? Issei's words made the nun nervous. She unconsciously took a few steps back which the former one noticed. So he put his gently hands up and repeated one more time. Don't worry, I will not hurt you. I'm just telling you that I'm a damper. You know, half human, half vampire. You're not human. Half human. Why are you telling me you're a vampire? I'm a damper. Why, you asked. It's because you looked very kind. So I figured I might have to be honest with you and give you some warnings. Warnings? The nun inclined her head a little. That church is not a good place for you to stay. The fallen angels in there tried to kill me yesterday. The nun's eyes widened upon hearing those words. I haven't introduced myself till now, but pleased to meet you, Sister San. My name is Shuzen Issei. You may call me Ice. Issei lowered his head as he introduced. Ah. My name is Asia Argento. Please call me Asia. The nun, Asia, bowed her head down in return. She had a troubled look when she lifted her head up. So what should I do now, Ai-san? The young man placed a hand on his chin and began to think. I could take you to my mom. Maybe she'll give us some advice. I'll live myself in your care. Asia bowed her head one more time. Issei then carried her luggage for her and the two of them began walking away from the church. You know, you shouldn't really trust someone you just met so easily. What if I'm really the bad guy here? Haha, I simply believe that Ai-san is not a bad guy. Believe, huh? He shook his head and gave a bitter smile as he began guiding his new friend, Asia, to his house. At Shuzen's residence. Mom, I'm back. Welcome back this is. Ayako paused her movements when she saw her son who just got back, brought another girl with him. Hi, come in. Ayako invited Asia into the living room with a frozen smile. Please excuse me and my son for just 1 second, Ice, come with me for a moment. Ow ow ow. Mom, why are you pulling my ear? Ayako speed walked towards her son, greeted Asia a little and pulled her son to a corner. What's the meaning of this, Ice? I just approved you being together with Akeno-chan and you're already bringing another girl back home. It's not like that, Mom. Wait, what? Me being together with Akeno but we're not in that kind of relationship. You mean not yet, right? Mom? Don't change the subject here, boy. Why are you bringing another girl home? Is your dream being a harem king? No. Just listen to me for 1 second. Issei lost his cool and timing to explain when his mother brought up the subject of her approving Akeno being with Issei. After the young man explained Asia's condition to his mother, Kayako returned to the living room along with her son. Hi there. I'm Isa's mother, Shuzen Kayako. Kayako sat next to Asia and lowered her head slightly. Hey. I'm Asia Argento. Pleased to meet you. Asia replied quickly but in a sheepish manner. I heard about your current condition from Ice, and from what I know about those annoying crows, I think it's best if you stay as far away as possible from them. But then, where should I go? You can stay here. We have some extra room. Both Ice and Asia's eyes widened after hearing Kayako's answer. Hey? Ice, bring that luggage upstairs. Huh? You heard me. She's staying with us starting from today. What just happened? The young man carried the luggage upstairs while trying to contemplate his mother meaning. When Issa got back from work, he was surprised to see the young girl with blonde hair and green eyes helping his wife in preparing the dinner. Issei saw his father and once again told the whole story to Issa. In the dining room. Thank you for the meal. Asia thanked the Shuzen family with all her heart. Small bow. It's alright. I heard your story from Ice. You may stay here as long as you like. Issa gave the nun a small smile and asked her to lift her head up. Sitting beside Issa, Kayako stared at Asia with a puzzled expression. Asia-chan, if it's not too much. Can you tell us your story? The young girl was surprised by Kayako's request for a while. She then covered the sad and lonely expression with a fake smile. She then began telling the Shuzen family a story. A story of a girl once called the Holy Priestess. The story began where she was abandoned by her mother when she was just a baby. She was then raised in a Catholic church where she gained the ability in using her sacred gear, Twilight Healing. The people from the church who witnessed it began to call her the Holy Priestess due to her ability to heal others. Now, the Holy Priestess used her power to heal many people, and the believers all said it was a gift from God himself. Though she was happy for able to be useful, she had no friends as none were willing to become one. In the church's eyes, she was simply a tool to heal people. But everything changed when someone from the church saw her healing an injured devil. Upon realizing that the girl's power could not only heal humans, but devils as well, they branded the Holy Priestess as a witch and was forsaken. Maybe it's because I didn't pray enough. Asia didn't lose her smile even though tears began to fall from her eyes. Because I'm clumsy and stupid. That's enough. The girl widened her eyes when she suddenly felt a warm sensation wrapped around her body. It's not your fault. It was never your fault. You are very kind, Asia. Too kind. It's those fools from the church fault to begin with. Ayako squeezed Asia tightly in her arms as tears dripped down to her chin. Like a mother hugging her daughter, she gently whispered those words in Asia's ear. She then loosened her hug and looked at Asia. If no one accepts you, we will. From now on, I will be your mother. What do you say, Asia? Will you accept someone like me as your mother? Ayako's tone was soft and gentle. She asked Asia with a motherly smile on her face. Hi, Aka-san. Asia cried after she gave her answer while Kayako embraced her once again and patted her head. Both Issei and Issa couldn't help but smiled at the scene in front of them. That day, Asia Argento, the former Holy Priestess, gained a mother, a father, and an older brother. At Kuo Academy. Good morning, Ice. Yo, Akeno. Morning to you as well. The two youngsters greeted one another in front of the school gate early in the morning. Other students who saw their interaction started gossiping around Issei and Akeno. Why is he walking next to Himejima-senpai? Who does he think he is? Walking beside her? Are they dating? No. Himejima-senpai is Minia-e. Issei and Akeno simply ignored the crowd and walked into the school. As they walked, Akeno told Issei something in a soft tone. The fallen angels. What about them? Their movement had grown rapidly since last Saturday. What do you mean? Though he asked, Issei somehow knew the answer already. Since Saturday, they've been patrolling the town more often. It's as if they're searching for something. Irk. At that moment, Issei twitched a little. Akeno noticed it. What's wrong? That haha, the funny thing is I may be the reason why the fallen angels were behaving like that. The young man said it nervously as the young lady looked at him with her head slightly tilted. What do you mean, Ice? I am my family and I sort of adopted a sister who were affiliated to them. When he said with his eyes averted, Akeno's movement froze before him. Akeno? Though he told Akeno everything, Issei didn't expect his words would left an impact on the latter one. The young man found it strange when Akeno stayed frozen and quiet for quite some time. So decided to take a peek at the girl worriedly, but he failed to see her eyes due to them being overshadowed by her bangs. It was then he noticed Akeno's body were shaking. Yufufufu. Oh, someone's in trouble. The moment Drag warned his host in a playful tone, Issei automatically took a few steps back. When Akeno lifted her head up and turned towards Issei, the young man stiffened instantly. Because though she's having a smile on her face, her eyes were dangerous as hell. What's the meaning of this, Ice? Akeno? Did you get yourself a girlfriend already after we parted our ways that day? Girlfriend? No. It's not what you think, Akeno. Issei instantly dismissed Akeno's ideas. We just thought that it's not safe for someone like her to stay with those fallen angels. Plus there's a bit more to that, so it's kind of a long story. Akeno remained quiet once more. She squinted her eyes suspiciously at Issei. I'm telling the truth here. Fine. I'll believe you. Akeno looked away with a small pout and continued walking. So are you guys going to do anything with the fallen angels? Nothing. What? Why? We can't afford to start a war with the fallen angels. I see. But they did attack you first, it's technically their fault, right? If you put it that way, you're not wrong. But I can't decide this alone. I must wait for Butchu's order. Butchu? You mean your master? Yay. She's. Ara. There you are, Akeno. I was looking for you. Another voice came from behind when Akeno was about to speak. Both Issei and Akeno turned around to see a young woman in her late teens with light skin, blue-green eyes and a buxom figure. She had a long crimson-red hair that reaches down to her thighs, with a single hair strand sticking out from the top. Ah, Butchu. It was then, Issei realized that the person that stood before him was Akeno's master. The young man admitted that he was mesmerized by her beauty for a moment. The crimson-haired young lady then directed her attention at him. You must be the new student, Shuzen Issei. Nice to meet you. Rias Gremory. But you may call me Rias. Nice to meet you, Rias-senpai. Issei lowered his head a little when he greeted the crimson-haired princess. You sure are polite. Pleased to meet you as well. Do you mind if I talk with Akeno for a moment? Not at all. In fact, I think I should head to my class now. Akeno, we'll meet at the same spot later during break time. Yay, sure. Alright then. I'll see you later. Oh, and once again, pleased to meet, Rias-senpai. Issei gave them a wave and left. Rias remained looking at him as the young man ran to his class. You two sure are close. I still can't see what's so special about him. Ahahaha. Akeno smiled wryly at her master's words. You alright, Akeno? Of course I am. What made you say that? I just have a feeling that you're not telling me something. I think you're overthinking things. If you say so. But if there's something on your mind, you know you can tell me, right? I'm saying this as a friend. Yay, I know. Anyway, let's head to our class for now. Hi, Butchu. Somewhere at Kuo Town. Both Issei and Akeno took a stroll at the Kuo Town right after her club activity was over. You. Stop right there, you devil. The four fallen angels descended in front of Isay and Akeno. It's you guys again. Akeno readied herself to fight against them as lightning were circulating on both her hands. But one of the fallen angels looked at Akeno with a confused look. Huh? I've never met you before. But that's not the point. Answer this question. Did you devils kidnap our nun? Huh? Akeno raised an eyebrow when she was asked. You devils must have kidnapped the nun that was assigned to our church. That's right. You accursed devils, how dare you interfere with our plans? Plans? Issei's eyebrows risen, and so was his curiosity. He wanted to know what the plan the fallen angel was talking about was. Akeno, on the other hand, was confused by the way the fallen angel's words. She decided to ask the young man next to her with a whisper. Ice? What? Why is that they have no memories of seeing us before? Oh. I altered their memories. So they remembered absolutely nothing. The young man ended that with a cheeky grin and a thumbs up, thus making Akeno smile wryly. Hey, I have an idea. What is it? Why don't I knock them out and you take them back to your master? I don't think. Release. Before Akeno could finish her sentence, Issei had already removed his holy lock. His fangs and ruby-slit eyes had returned. He's not human. Onaseek panicked when he saw the changes in Issei's appearances. Sorry old man, but I need you to sleep for a while. But the blink of an eye, Issei already stood behind the fallen angels. The young damper gently karate chopped the back of Donasik's neck, causing the latter one to faint and hit the ground with his face first. Bitch. Donas. You three as well. Issei simply placed a sleep magic on the three of them with a swipe of his hand. There, all fallen angels are done. He declared that triumphantly as he stick out his chest in pride. He also blurted out his thinking out loud. Should I alter their memories again? Make them forget everything about Asia? Yay, that would be a good idea. Ice. Huh? What's her name? Her? The girl your parents and you adopted. Asia. Her name is Asia Argento. I see. I hope I could meet her someday. Sure. I'll introduce you to her. I bet you two could get along pretty well. When the atmosphere was starting to get good, someone unexpected appeared. What's the meaning of this? Who exactly are you? Rias, who emerged from the magic circle, asked Isay and Akeno with a stern expression and cold tone. Appearing along with her were the handsome young man and the petite girl who Isay had never met before. The two of them were glaring at Isay with their guards up. Oops. Busted. Greg. Buddy, not helping. Rias frowned a little as she looked at her trusted queen. Akeno, did you know that he's a supernatural being from the very beginning? Why didn't you report this to me? That's… Don't bother asking your servant. I've altered her memories. Of course she couldn't tell you anything about me. Akeno tried to explain, but Isay was a step ahead of her and took the blame for her. He smirked and said it with a taunting smirk which irritated Rias. Ice. What are you doing? What did you say? Akeno was interrupted the second time when Rias asked the damper with a cold tone. Crimson aura began to leak out from her body. Rias, wait. You heard me. I manipulated her memories. Isay repeated what he had said without losing the smirk on his face. This time, he emphasized it by tapping the side of his head with his finger. You get away from her this instant. The magic circle immediately appeared in front of her as both her hands were directed at Isay. Crimson black demonic power then gathered before her. Within 4 seconds, the demonic power gathered, charged and was fired at Isay. But in the young man's perspective that 4 seconds was too long. If he was the enemy, she would have been killed before she could even fired. Isay took his stance while kept his eyes on the demonic power. He then coated his left hand with the right amount of Tauki and smacked the crimson black demonic power away in a single backhand. Tauki you can use in jutsu. Rias was shocked from what she had just witnessed. Nope. I was simply taught on how to use Tauki. Udo, Kaneko. Rias regained her calmness and set out 2 names. And upon hearing their master's order, both of the handsome young man and the petite girl nodded their heads began engaging Isay. Rias' knight approached onto Isay's left side with his quickest speed and tried to deliver a horizontal slash. But his slash was stopped by the latter's bare hand. The knight widened his eyes when he saw that and tried to pull back, but he failed as he couldn't retract his sword. Fast but not fast enough. Your swing is also weak. Plus, your sword. What about my sword? It feels weak. Prank. After a small tilt on his head, Isay broke the sword by crushing like it fragile glass. He then gently swiped his left foot against the knight's right foot, making him lost his balance and tripped. He looked up when he realized something overshadowed him. The petite girl was falling from midair while trying to deliver an axe kick down onto his head. But that move made Isay saw something else. Strawberry panty huh? Guessing what he had on mind, the petite girl narrowed her eyes and said to Isay. Pervert. Sorry. Though he apologized, the girl brought her kick down without any mercy, but her attack was easily blocked by Isay with his wrist. Isay swiftly took a few steps back and looked at his wrist where he blocked the girl's attack. For someone of her size, she sure hit hard. Well, since you're here, you can have her back. I'm heading home. Bye. Wait. Rias tried to stop him, but was she ignored. Guo Academy Occult Research Club. Akeno. I forbid you from seeing him. The devils had gathered in the room to discuss what just happened. Rias, who was sitting on her seat, was ordering Akeno to stay away from the young man she met. He's not a bad person. He altered your memories. He was lying. That's enough. I will not tolerate your behavior any further. Though her body's trembling in anger, Akeno did not refute her master. She then turned towards the door. Akeno, stop. Don't you dare walk away from me. I will not allow my servant turn herself into a rogue devil. Akeno, are you listening to me? Akeno. Akeno simply ignored her master's words and stormed out of the room. Both Kiba and Kaneko could only remain silent, look at their master with a complicated expression. Not long after, another person entered the room. It's a young bespectacled woman in her late teens with a slim figure, black hair styled in a short bob cut and violet eyes. She's also a devil like Rias, and she knew Rias since they were born. Rias, what just happened? I could hear your voice all the way from outside. And what's wrong with Akeno? Why does she look so upset? Ah. Hi there, Sona. Sorry about that. Something happened. What do you mean? When Sona asked with an eyebrow raised, Rias tiredly explained the entire situation to her. So that new student was a Dhampir. That's odd, because I couldn't sense his vampire side at all. He must have found a way to hide it. You said that Akeno's close to him. Yay. I'm afraid that he had been using her from the very beginning. Do you have any evidence on that? No, but he did admit for manipulating Akeno's memories. He admitted. Yay. But Akeno insisted that he was lying to protect her from receiving punishment from me. Oh? And do you believe that? I honestly don't know what to believe anymore. The crimson-haired princess let out an exhausted sigh and massaged her temple. And Akeno? Where is she going? If my guess is correct, she's probably going to the Dhampir, Shuzen Issei's side. And you didn't stop her? I did. But she didn't listen to me at all. After the room went quiet for a moment, Sona looked back at Rias and spoke. So what are you going to do? Rias closed her eyes and went into deep thoughts. When she reopened her eyes, they were directed at Student Council President. Sona, I need your help. Who? That Dhampir, he's not someone I could go easy on. I need your assistance. Very well. I will summon my servants now. In Issei's bedroom. Akeno teleported to the Shuzen's house right after she left the school perimeter. Predicting that she might came to see him, Isay was already waiting for her in his room. Are your parents home? No. They're bringing Asia to the town to buy her some daily needs. I see. After a short silence, Akeno looked at Isay with an expression mixed with sadness and anger. Ice, why did you do that? What? Why did you lie to my master? Ah, that. Well, I acted without thinking, to be honest. Ha 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 ha. Seriously, you're so reckless. Hey Akeno. The young man stiffened, for he was caught off guard when she suddenly thrown herself at him. What should I do, Ice? Ice's eyes widened a bit upon hearing her weak voice and noticed her body was shaking. He pulled her apart a little to take a look at her face. His heart stopped beating for a second when he saw those teary eyes of hers. What's wrong? She wants me to stop seeing you. I see she sees me as a threat because what I said. Man, I sure messed things up. Issei grumbled and scratched the back of his head, but he soon returned his attention onto Akeno. What about you? What is that you truly want? I wish to be with you. Forever. Damn, she's bold. I'll give her that. Akeno's honest feelings left Issei speechless. He began to blush as it was his first time that anyone had said something like that to him. Pretty soon, Akeno realized what she had blurted out as well. She too began to blush like a red tomato. I mean that what I meant was. Akeno began to panic as her eyes began to swirl and smokes were coming out from her head. She's dying from embarrassment. Do something, Dumbus. Right. With Drake's little help, Issei regained his composure. He placed his hands on her shoulders and gazed into the young lady's eyes. It's alright, Akeno. I too would like to be with you. Say it. Just say it. I like you, Akeno. Ada, boy. Drake clapped and cheered in Issei's head when he saw his partner had finally voiced out his feelings. His confess, however, did cause Akeno to blush even more. Noticing her face feeling extremely hot, Akeno covered her face with both her hands shyly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I said anything weird. Issei misunderstood Akeno's action and quickly removed his hands from her shoulders. But what he didn't expect next was Akeno embracing him once again. He felt the sensation of her breast pressing against his chest, but he pushed the thoughts to his side as it would totally ruin the atmosphere. I like you too, Ice. Immediately after saying that, Akeno put both hands on Issei's cheeks. She brought her face closer and closer to his and. Juu. Akeno's lips overlapped Issei's. They kissed. Though the scenario was romantic, the young man did let out a pathetic sound because he did not see that kiss was coming. Their kiss lasted for quite some time until they pulled apart in order to catch some breath. My first kiss with Ice. With tomato cheeks, Akeno touched her lips and mumbled to herself. She was savoring the new addictive sensation she had just gotten. She got you, didn't she? The Red Dragon Emperor said that smugly and laughed at his host. I did not see that coming. The kiss with Akeno had left the Dhampir in a daze. Ice. Yes, I'm here. He immediately straightened his back in a shupa. Sound. We will be together, right? The Akeno with senior atmosphere was no longer there. The Akeno in front of him was no more than an innocent young lady who wanted a happy ending with the person she loved. Yes. We'll be together forever if you want to. But. I think we need to clear out the misunderstanding between me and your master. The longer this drag, the harder it will be to resolve this misunderstandings. Saying that, Issei stood up and offered Akeno a hand. Should we go and explain everything to your master? Yay. With a beautiful smile, Akeno took Issei's hand. Go Academy. Rias stood at the above the school building and silently gazed upon the Kuo town. Rias, we're all ready. Sona approached the crimson-haired young lady. Ah, I see. Could you sense her? Rias replied that question with her eyes closed and a shook on her head. Not just her energy. I couldn't even sense the evil piece itself. Perhaps there's a barrier or a spell that prevents you from sensing both Akeno and the evil piece. That could be the reason. Anyway, we should head down and meet up with the rest. Agree. When they exited the school building, a number of 9 students stood at the school entrance, as if they were waiting for Rias and Sona. Aside from Rias, Knight and Rook, there were 7 more people wearing the school uniforms. A young bespectacled woman with long straight black hair that extends all the way down to her knees with split bangs. Shinra Tsubaki. A young girl with white hair and blue-green eyes. Hanakai Momo. A slim girl with long brown hair that ends in 2 short braids and matching eyes. She also wore a blue headband. Kusaka Ria. A tall girl with blue shoulder-length hair and matching eyes. Yuri Tsubasa. A girl with shoulder-length reddish-brown hair and brown eyes. Meguri Tomo. A short teenage girl with brown hair and long twin ponytails and green eyes. Nomura Ruko. A young man with short blonde hair and gray eyes. Saji Genshiro. Aichu, we're all set and ready on your command. A young bespectacled woman reported to Sona with a respectful tone. Ria-senpai, I heard what happened from Kaichu. Don't worry, we will assist you in defeating that damper and get Akeno-senpai back. The young man with short blonde hair took a step forth and declared that gallantly. Rias forced a smile but Sona who decided to warn her servant. Saji, it may be good that you have such confidence, but keep in mind that do not underestimate Shuzen Issei. We do not know what he's capable of. Hi, Kaichu. So where do we start searching? Don't bother searching. I'm already here. Then Sona looked back at Rias and asked her. Issei's voice came out of nowhere, causing everyone to keep their guards up. It was then they noticed Saji's shadow extended abnormally by itself and from there Issei along with Akeno came out from the Saji's shadow. Yo. Issei greeted the devils casually by raising his hand and gave them a gently wave. Rias, who was surprised for a moment, narrowed her eyes dangerously when she noticed he was holding onto Akeno's hand with his other free hand. Shuzen Issei, I'll give you a final warning. Let Akeno go. Rias growled dangerously as she steadily leaked out the crimson aura. The damper though was not bothered by the crimson prince's tone. He let out a tired sigh and spoke. Look, I think we got off the wrong foot at the very beginning. So can you please at least give me the chance to explain everything to you? Though everyone was surprised by Issei's sudden change of attitude, that didn't convince them enough to lower their guards. Then, a big-mouth idiot stepped in. Hey you, damper. You best surrender now. Saji, wait. You're mine. A negotiation failed. Akeno stepped back. Without waiting for his master's instructions, Saji launched himself forth. Issei, who saw that action, sighed disappointedly. Brah. When he got close, Saji threw a punch which was easily dodged with a simple sidestep. He tried to hit by throwing a second punch but was parried by a gentle backslap. All Saji's attack were either dodged or warded off by the brown-black-haired young man. Give back Akeno-senpai and quick dodging my attacks already. Take the hit like a man. Saji complained as he tried to catch his breath. To think, I haven't introduced myself. My name's Saji Genshiro. I am Sona Sitri-sama's pawn. I may be a pawn, but took up to 4 pieces, so be prepared to get your ass kicked, buha. Anyone ever tell you that you talk a lot? Annoyed by his constant talking, Issei just spun and delivered a kick to Saji's stomach. The kick sent the latter one rolling 20 meters backwards. Saji. Sona turned to her servant with great concern for a second, but immediately returned her attention back to Issei. The Citri heiress created magic circles on both her hands, and she spread them to the side. Dozens of water droplets at the size of tennis ball materialized from the magic circles. She then hurled those water droplets at her opponent and they traveled towards Issei at a breakneck speed. Fascinating. With a smirk on his face, the young man dodged all those incoming water droplets by running towards Sona in a zigzag pattern. Kaichu. The young bespectacled woman with long straight black hair got in between Sona and Issei and created a mirror before Issei. Prang. The moment Issei shattered the mirror with his fist, he felt the sensation of a pressure collided with his chest. The pressure was strong enough to make him skid away from her and Sona. You alright, Kaichu? Yay. Thanks Tsubaki. The young man whipped off the blood that came from at the edge of his mouth and dusted his chest. Greg, is that a sacred gear? I believe so, partner. The invisible force you received was actually the rebound of your attack. Yay, but it's not just that. The attack, it was doubled as well. That's one annoying sacred gear she got there. Behind you. With Drake's warning, Issei lowered his head and body just in time to dodge a horizontal slash, which was performed by the reddish-brown-haired girl. She had a katana on her hands. Isay supported himself by thrusting his right hand into the ground, and with a small shift on his lower body, he back-kicked the girl's hand. No. To be more specific, he back-kicked the pommel of the katana. The katana flew out of her hands and stabbed onto the ground not too far away from her. When the girl dashed away from Isay and in order to retrieve her katana, she was shocked to see Isay was already in front of the katana. One of her teammates with shoulder-length blue-haired was a rook, and when she noticed Isay had his left hand clenched into a fist, she immediately tried to intercept the blow with her trusted enhanced defense. Tomo, stand back. Tsubasa. Tsubasa stood before her friend, Tomo, with her hands crossed in an X formation. The moment Isay threw his punch, he bent the air and created a pressure wave that propelled towards the girls. You what? Hiya. Tsubasa braced herself for the collision against the pressure wave. But, she underestimated the pressure wave generated by Isay's fist. At first, she skidded a little. Then the next second, the wave pressure exploded which sent the two girls back. Rias. I understand, Momo. The young girl with white hair and blue-green eyes rushed to Isay's left while the slim girl with long brown hair moved to his right. Both of them had their hands up and created magic circles. Momo shot out a whirlpool of flame while Rias shot out a whirlwind. Ooh. When the two elements hit Isay, a ferocious vortex of inferno was created from the fusion of fire and wind. Ice. Akeno tried to summon water with her magic circle, but someone stopped her. I won't let you do it, Akeno. Rias stood before her queen with her right hand facing Akeno. Rias, it's all just a misunderstanding. Please just let me help him. I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. Just after she said that, Rias' knight Kibayudo and her rook Taoju Kaneko had surrounded Akeno. I'm sorry, Akeno-san. Sorry, Akeno-senpai. Rias saw her chances and quickly activate a magic circle from her hand. No, please, he didn't do anything wrong. Akeno lost her consciousness and collapsed. But Kiba managed to catch her just before she hit the ground. Udo, Kaneko, I want you two to take her to the clubhouse. Hide her there for now. But you. Oh. Well, he's still occupied. The two showed a complicated expression at the beginning, but they then nodded their heads and followed their master's instruction. Sona and her remaining servants have joined Momo and Rias in strengthening and maintaining the tornado flame. They could still sense a faint presence of Issei inside that vortex of inferno. One of her servant, Saji, on the other hand, was still unconscious from that previous single blow. He lied on the ground lifelessly as drools were coming out from the side of his mouth. Sona, how are things here? Rias rushed to her childhood friend's side and asked the situation. I'm not sure. His presence has been weakened, but something's not right. Okay. I'm starting to get bored. So let's all just end this pesky little fight already. Everyone was surprised when they heard Issei's calm yet bored voice. Inside the flame tornado, Issei enhanced his left hand furthermore with his tauki. And with a single swing of his tauki-coated arm to the side, he created a force strong enough to decimate the tornado flame from the inside. Hiya. The wind force created by Issei had pushed everyone back along with the flame. Momo and Rias, who stood closest to the flame at the very beginning, were about to be engulfed by it. They failed to make it in time and putting up a magic shield or barrier. Momo. Rias. Sona tried to save them, but she had yet recovered herself from the previous attack. But just when they were about to get burned by their own attacks, several shadow tentacles which emerged underneath their shadows lashed themselves down to both Momo and Rias. The shadow tentacles then dragged Momo and Rias down into their own shadows. Sona and the others who just witnessed that were left speechless. Alright, that's enough. They diverted their attention back to Issei, and they were stunned to see Issei remained unharmed. Not a single burn on him or his uniform. I already told you guys. I'm here to talk. Where's Akeno? He looked around to see his girlfriend was no longer. He was surprised for a second, but maintained his composure after he sensed her presence at the old clubhouse. Hey, okay, here's the thing. Just hear me out for a minute or two. I may have lied about the whole memory alteration thing. I mean, yes, I could do that, but I didn't do it on Akeno. I did that so that you won't punish her. He calmly explained the whole situation to Rias while she and the others were still on guards. Not that he cared. He explained how he begged Akeno not to tell her master, though knowing the consequences she might face if her master ever found out. So he decided to take the blame for the woman he loves. Upon hearing all that story, Sona looked at Issei with skeptical looks. How could we trust you? There isn't any proof that whether or not what you just said were true. You want proof? How about the fact that I just saved two of your servants? With a snap of his fingers, Sona's shadow extended and Momo and Rias popped out just beside her. Momo. Ria. Haichu. Everyone was surprised and happy to see their fellow classmates and friends were still alive and kicking. Issei didn't want to spoil the mood, but he went on. And how about the fact that I have the capability to slaughter you all right here right now, but I never did. I never have any ill intention against you guys. I just want to have a peaceful school life with Akeno. Everyone went silent at that point. It was Rias who decided to spoke afterwards. Fine. I'll believe your words. But if you so far think of harming Akeno. You'll what? Kill me? Trust me, you can't. Because I'm stronger than you. You. Yay. I get it already. I won't bring harms to Akeno. You can have my words. When all things were about to end. Haha. You're mine. Saji, who just woke up, didn't know that the fight was over. He snuck behind Issei and brought his fist down. Bonk. He hit Issei on the back of his head. Everyone who witnessed that went quiet and their eyes almost popped out. Now you just pissed me off. Ooh on. Hi. The atmosphere went cold instantly when Isay emitted a bloodlust that none of them had ever felt before. As immense amount of red aura were gushing out from his body, Isay struck the field with his left fist. The ground shook violently, the field shattered completely. Screams could be heard because everyone had lost their footings. This was just him letting off some steam. Are devils really that low? Hitting someone's back after a truce has been called. He looked at Rias, Sona and their peerages with great killing intent as his ruby eyes shined. He then set his eyes on the one who hit him. Saji. Isay began cracking his knuckles as he took his time to shorten their distance. You're dead to me. Hi. From that night forth, there were rumors spread around the Kuo Academy that school was haunted by a shrieking lady. But since there's no proof, it's been called as a myth. And? So how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye.